Hello everyone and welcome back to the thing you hate talking about. Today's video is going to be a little bit different from the ones that I've done previously. I'm going to talk about the other 2020 US presidential candidates. Yes, there are more than just Donald Trump and Joe Biden on the ballot. And you'll find that. So I hope that if you don't want to vote for Trump and you absolutely don't want to vote for Biden and you just want to vote for something else, this video will be of use to you. And if you're just curious about other things to see what other political parties might be out there or other individuals who you might enjoy or agree with on some things, I hope this video will help you find these people and introduce you to them. So going over the format a little bit, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you the name of the presidential candidate with their political affiliation. I'm going to give you their running mate, and I'm going to give you some issues that are important to them. I will also tell you what their website is, so either their campaign or party affiliation website if they do not have a campaign website, or any other affiliation website. I will include pictures of what the candidate looks like, what their running mate looks like, and where they will be on the ballot. All of those pictures if they are available. And what I mean by where they are on the ballot, not every candidate will be on every state's ballot. Okay, you have to apply to each state, and some are on the ballot, so you'll see their name and their party affiliation on the ballot, and some are just write-in candidates. And what that means is if they are written in, those votes will be counted towards them. Okay, the candidates are listed from least amount of electoral vote accessed to most amount of electoral vote access. So how much of the electoral college do they have access to? Note, this is not a comprehensive list of all candidates, and some candidates might be listed different on your ballot. So all of these candidates are on at least 2 state ballots or they are able to have write-in votes counted. Okay. And some candidates might be listed different on your ballot. So for example, later on, we'll be talking about Rocky De La Fuente, and he is the Alliance Party presidential nominee. And the vice presidential candidate that I will be talking about might not appear on your ballot. I have seen Kanye West listed as his vice presidential nominee, so just a heads up for that. With that said, let's get started. First, we have Blake Hubbard. He is the Approval Voting Party presidential candidate. This is him right here. His running mate is Frank Atwood. Now, Blake Hubbard is a co-founder of the Approval Voting Party, and Frank Atwood is a member of the Littletown Election Commission from Colorado. All this information, side note, is from Wikipedia. It's one of the most comprehensive lists that I could find, so I know people have some issue with Wikipedia, but it's a good starting place, so bear that in mind. They are a single issue party, approval voting. So what approval voting means is that you are given a list of all presidential candidates, and you can look at each person, or it doesn't have to be presidential, it can be any electoral office. You look at each person and you go, okay, do I agree with Joe Biden? If you do, check mark. If not, leave it blank. And then you go down. Do I agree with Donald Trump? If you do, check mark. If you don't, leave it blank. And you keep going down the list like that. So that's just a different way of voting. And you can learn more about it on their website, approvalvotingparty.com. Here down in the corner, we have the states that they have access to. So the darker the color, that means they're on the ballot. So you'll see them on the ballot. Again, this is according to Wikipedia. So the lighter color, so like Iowa, for instance, here, means that they are write-in ballot access candidates. So that means if you vote for them as a write-in candidate, those votes will count towards their tally. Okay. Next, we have Jerome Siegel of the Bread and Roses Party right here. Jerome Siegel is an American philosopher and the president of the Jewish Peace Lobby. His running mate is John DeGraff, and he is an independent filmmaker from Washington. And they're running on socialistic policies that are grounded in American history. And so if you go to the Bread and Roses Party website or to siegelforpresident.org, you will find that they have policies that they talk about in terms of American history at times and really based for America. Jerome Siegel has, as part of his campaign platform, has a part where he breaks it down into bread and roses, and he goes through all of his things there. So it's really interesting to read through all of that. And again, here is their ballot access. Again, dark color means they're on the ballot and you can see their name, and light color means you can write them in and their votes will count. Next, we have John McHugh. He is an independent, and this is him right here. His running mate, I'm a little confused at, because on Wikipedia, it's listed as Elizabeth Storm. And on libertystrikesback.com, which is the website that you can go to find information on Joe McHugh, she's not listed there. At least I have not seen anything there at time of recording. However, he does have a list or an idea of his cabinet there. And the person that he has listed as the person he wants to be his vice president is current Massachusetts Representative Ayanna Pressley. He also has a bunch of other people into these positions. No, none of these people have agreed to those positions, and it says right there on underneath their pictures. So just be aware of that. So top policies: he wants to make laws easier to understand. So American laws and laws in general are just written really difficult to read and difficult to understand to just the average American. So he wants to make them so that the average American can understand the law, that if they look up the law, they can go, oh yeah, that makes sense. He's also for a UBI, or a universal basic income, along with what he calls a USA, or a universal savings account. So those things combined will help people get out of poverty and be, the things to help people. He wants to end the drug war, and he wants to end the Fed, or the Federal Reserve, and replace it with a national credit union. So things a little bit different. Again, the website is libertystrikesback.com, and he is on the ballot in Colorado and Utah. And Joe McHugh, little personal thing that I forgot to do, he is a Marine veteran and entrepreneur from Michigan. So again, you can look up more. His website has a lot of good stuff. You can see what he's for, and he has it laid out, and you can read through it. It's a really good layout and setup. So there's that. Next, we have Jade Simmons, who is running as an independent, and her running mate, Claudia J. Rose. Jade Simmons is a classical concert pianist. She's also a speaker. She was Miss Illinois, and Claudia J. Rose is a defense contractor from Texas, and they are running on a God First platform, and they want to lower Medicare eligibility to 55 while also adding a public option and empower marginalized groups. And those are just some of the things that they talk about. She has a 20-point plan kind of laid out on their website, jadesimmons.mykajabi.com/Operation Restoration 2020. Again, here you can see where they have access and where they don't. The lighter gray here is their write-in ballot access. Next, we have Dario Hunter of the Progressive Party right here, and his running mate is Don Neptune Adams. Dario Hunter is an American rabbi, and he is a former 2020 Green Party presidential candidate. So he was running in the Green Party presidential primary. He ended up losing to the now candidate, but then he decided to go off on his own and start as the Progressive Party candidate. And Don Neptune Adams is an activist, and they are running on a platform of a Green New Deal. They want electoral reform. They want to ensure the rights of people of color and Medicare for all, etc. It's if you know what Bernie Sanders' platform was, they have a very similar platform to him as well. And you can find that on dariohunter.com. And here you can see where they have access and where they do not. Next, we have Phil Collins of the Prohibition Party. And no, not the singer Phil Collins. This is Phil Collins, and his running mate is Billie Joe Parker. Phil Collins is an American politician, and Billie Joe Parker is a former Marine. And little side note about the Prohibition Party, they are the oldest running third party in the US. So they've been continuously running and active since, I believe it's 1869. They have not broken up. They have been a cohesive party since then. They're running on a very conservative platform. And of course, their platform has always been consistent on alcohol and drugs, that alcohol and drugs should not be allowed. And you can find more information on Phil Collins and Billie Joe Parker at the Prohibition Party website, prohibitionparty.org. They have access here. And now we have Bill Hammonds of the Unity Party. His running mate is Eric Bodenstab. Bill Hammonds is the founder of the Unity Party, and Eric Bodenstab, I'm so sorry again, is the chairman of the Colorado Unity Party. They are a centrist party, and they are for a balanced budget, setting term limits to Congress. They want to revoke presidential pardon power. They're a very centrist party, and you can find that information at billisrunning.com. You can also find more information at the Unity Party's website if you look it up. And here is where they have ballot access. Next, we have Allison Kennedy of the Socialist Workers Party. Her running mate is Malcolm Jarrett right here. Now, it was kind of hard to find data or different things for them. From what I could tell, the Socialist Workers Party doesn't have an active party website. They do have a newspaper that they run called themilitant.com, so I left it there if you wish to see it. But by their title, they are a socialist party. That much you can gather. And one thing that I know is that the Socialist Workers Party is very supportive of Cuba. They've been supportive of Cuba for a very long time. And here they have a little bit more access than some. And like I said, these, as we go along, you're going to see more and more people have access to electoral votes. Next, we have Brian Carroll right here of the American Solidarity Party, and his running mate is Amar Patel. Now, Brian Carroll is a teacher from California, and Amar Patel, I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong, is the chairman of the American Solidarity Party. They run on a pro-sanctity of life. So that means they're anti-abortion, but they're also against the death penalty. So they're for life from beginning to end. That also means that they are for improving the economic well-being of everyone, because life is not just about what happens at the beginning and what happens at the end. It also means what happens from beginning to end, everywhere in between. So they wish to help people economically in any way that they can. And you can find more about Brian Carroll and his candidacy at briancarroll.life. And here is where they have access. So the darker orange are the ones where they're actually on the ballot, and the lighter orange are the ones where they can be write-in candidates and their votes will count towards them. Next, we have Kanye West of the Birthday Party and Independent. So you will see him either listed with the Birthday Party or as an independent. And his running mate is Michelle Tidball. Most people know who Kanye West is, but for those who don't, Kanye West is a rapper and Michelle Tidball is a preacher, and they wish to restore faith, eliminate household debt, and reform the justice system, along with some other things. And you can find a lot of their platform at Kanye2020.country. Also, like I said, he may be listed as a vice presidential candidate for the Alliance Party, who I will get to in a few minutes here. So again, here, darker blue, Kanye West, it will be on the ballot. Lighter blue, his votes for him will be counted as write-ins. Next, we have Brock Pierce as an independent and Carla Ballard. Brock Pierce is a former child star. If you've ever seen the movie Mighty Ducks, he is in that movie. But he is also the former director of the Bitcoin Foundation. And Carla Ballard is an entrepreneur from Pennsylvania. They wish to improve tech literacy of the government. So they see that the government is very tech illiterate right now, and they want to get it up to the 21st century. They believe in a UEI, which is basically their version of a UBI, or Universal Basic Income. They want to legalize cannabis, as well as some other things, and you can find that at brock.vote. And here, again, darker green on the ballot, lighter green write-in candidate. Next, we have Don Blankenship of the Constitution Party with his running mate, William Moore. So, Don Blankenship, William Moore. I'm so sorry. Again, I really need to look up names. Anyways, they are strictly pro-U.S. Constitution. So their platform is very much, we need to watch the Constitution to a T. It's a more conservative party. Yeah, and you can find more at donblankenship.com and other stuff at the Constitution Party. They also have a website, so I didn't include it here, but you can also find them there. And again, dark purple, they're on the ballot. Light purple, they're write-in candidates. Here. Now we have Rocky De La Fuente, that's how I'm going to pronounce his name, of the Alliance Party. Now, here his running mate is stated as Darcy Richardson. Again, in some places, though, you might see him with vice presidential candidate as Kanye West. They want to have a single-payer healthcare system in a way, immigration reform, restructure the tax system, among other things. And you can find a lot more on Rocky101.com. Rocky has run multiple times through the Alliance Party and through the Reform Party. So you might have seen him before on ballots. And there again at the bottom, you see where he has access to. Now we have Gloria La Riva for the Party for Socialism and Liberation, and her running mate is Sunil Freeman, and they are both activists, and they are for shutting down all U.S. military bases around the world. They want to expand unions, and among other things. They are a socialist party, so they have many socialist ideas, and you can find more about their platform. They have a nice short platform on their website at lariva2020.org, and here again you can see where they are listed. Next, we have Howie Hawkins in the Green Party. Here, you might have heard of Howie Hawkins before. This is him right here. If not, or you probably have heard of the Green Party at least. His running mate is Angela Walker. Howie Hawkins is one of the co-founders of the Green Party. He's also a former Marine, and he has run multiple times. He is a big trade unionist and all that. Angela Walker, also dedicated to union activism, and they are for a Green New Deal. And along with that, Howie Hawkins was one of the originators of the original Green New Deal back in 2010, and they have a very strong Green New Deal compared to Joe Biden, who says he's got some Green New Deal. He is a very strong one. They want to have democracy reform in government, workplace, and in media. So they want to reform democracy in the government. They want to implement democracy in the workplace and implement democracy through media. So by different means. And they have an economic bill of rights, etc. And you can find all this at howiehawkins.us. And they have a really good system where if you click on the issues and you click on things, and they have different policies listed about what they want and some things of what they will do. So it's a very interesting platform. Again, they are probably one of the biggest third parties that you will see. They are on the ballot in most states, and they are write-in candidates in virtually every state except for 4 of them at time of recording. Now, finally, some of you may be watching and have been waiting for this one. We have Jo Jorgensen, who is the Libertarian Party candidate, with her running mate, Spike Cohen. Now, Jo Jorgensen is a professor at Clemson University, and Spike Cohen is a podcaster and a businessman. The Libertarian Party platform, their platform is they want to deregulate the economy. They want to restructure the economy to be more competitive, and they think less government. They want to have less government and more competition. So, they're less government in all aspects, and they want a more competitive economy. And you can find that information at joe20.com. As you can see, they are on the ballot in every single state. So they have access to all electoral votes. Now, you want to know more. Where can you find it? You can find it at their campaign websites, obviously, or party affiliations as well. There is a foundation called Free and Equal Elections Foundation, and they host presidential debates every year with third-party candidates and also the big party candidates as well, but it depends. So they had presidential debates during the party's primaries, and you could see numerous other things there. And on October 8th, they had a presidential candidate debate where they invited, I believe it was 8 people, and not 8 people, it was 10 people. And out of those 10, 5 agreed. Howie Hawkins, Gloria La Riva, Don Blankenship, Brian Carroll, and Brock Pierce all agreed to have this debate. They invited Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Jo Jorgensen, Rocky De La Fuente, and Kanye West, on top of the 5 that I had mentioned earlier, to have this debate. And again, the people that I listed at the beginning, Hawkins, La Riva, Blankenship, Carroll, and Pierce, all agreed. And they have clips that you can watch. So on their Facebook page, I believe you should be able to find the live that they had of it if you want to hear some candidates. I know otherwise you can find interviews from newspapers. They've done some of those. And on YouTube, you can also find some things, I'm sure, if you Googled their names, and just, to look around, you can Google their names as well. With that said, I hope this was informative and helpful for those who have yet to vote. I know many people have already voted because of this election, but I hope that you are now more informed. If you have yet to vote and you were a little bit curious about, well, I don't want to vote for Joe Biden and I don't want to vote for Donald Trump, who could I vote for otherwise? So I hope you take this information as you will, and that if you want to know more, you go look for it yourself. With that said, I hope everybody's staying healthy and safe, and solidarity, everyone.